Daniels with the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. What we're going to do today is show you a reference video of how to collect retropharyngeal lymph nodes from white-tailed deer. It's part of our chronic wasting disease surveillance in the state, or CWD, and these are the samples that we collect to send off to the lab to test for positive. So what you see here, we have two white-tailed deer heads that were brought in from a processor, and what I've already drawn out is some of the diagram for the actual Adam's apple, the location underneath where the lymph nodes will be, and our cut line. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'll show you what we're looking for, what we're pulling out, and how to prepare the sample. So going along the cut line, which is located right at the back of the jaw and just in front of the Adam's apple, what we're going to do is try to shoot for aiming toward the back of the ear of the deer. I'm just going to go ahead and make my cut along the line, and then I'll cut on down into the tissue. Once I get in here, we'll pause for a second so you can see what we're looking at. Okay, so here we have the pharynx, and if you look at 5 and 7 o'clock, just on the dorsal side between the pharynx and the base of the skull, you see these two protrusions. Those are actually the lymph nodes we're looking for, and they're firm. If you feel them, they're hard as compared to all the other soft tissue around. Sometimes if you make the cut in the right location, you're going to see that perfect example of how to get to them. You'll see some of these other tissues that may be confused as lymph nodes, but once you make that perfect cut in that location, they're real easy to see. So we'll go ahead and get both those out and show them to you. We want to collect both of these. If there's any question, if you have the right part, go ahead and cut into the lymph node. You'll a lot of times see, and these are older specimens, there'll a lot of times be a darker gray interior. It's not really showing up on these. These colorations vary a lot of times. It's not necessary to split those. I'm just showing you that as a reference. You know, depending on how old the deer is, you can see these are paler in color. A fresh harvest may be actually more of a grayish color. But once you've collected the samples, get your whirl pack, especially for law enforcement officers that are collecting roadkills or clinical samples. Pull the two white tabs and open the whirl pack. Just place the samples inside. And it's probably a better idea to go ahead and write the information on the outside, but you've got plenty of room. We want to put the officer's badge number, the date the sample was collected, and then the GPS coordinates, preferably in decimal degree, on this whirl pack. And once all that's finished, just take the pack and roll it up 3 to 4 times and fold the tabs over. Now at this point, you want to obviously get this specimen chilled as quickly as possible, or get it to a freezer. If you can't get to a freezer, it can be chilled for up to 48 hours. Prefer it to be frozen as quick as possible, and there will be some freezers either within your districts or in the regional office available. For some of the other guys that are working on the staff or processors and taxidermists helping us out, we will have some labels provided, and there'll be a corresponding data sheet. So you just pull that label off, attach it to the front of that whirl pack, and you'll have a data sheet that corresponds to that label. And on that data sheet, you'll write down, you'll have your name at the top, because you want to identify each collector. But then you'll have the customer's name, their confirmation number for the harvest, and the county it was killed. It's real important that we get this location data, so if we ever have a positive within the state and our CWD response plans activated, then we'll know exactly where those animals were taken, so we can create that radius around that epicenter. So I can go ahead and show you real quick one more example without any of the markings. So you got the Adam's apple, the back of the jaw. Go ahead and make that cut. Kind of aiming toward the back of the ear as I go down. And a lot of times you'll cut right through these lymph nodes, or you'll expose them, but they're always located at 5 and 7 o'clock right underneath the pharynx. And you can see with this one that they're not as evident, but you can feel them down in there, so you might have to cut a little tissue away to expose them, and go ahead and cut them on out. If you have tweezers, do not use your fingers. That would be preferred. But so there we go. That's the tissue we're looking for. Like I said, these animals have been out of the freezer for a couple days, and the coloration is a lot darker than what you would typically see. But they're at 5 o'clock, and then come over on the other side, and we'll click the other one. And like I said, you can reach in there. You can feel that firm, hard tissue compared to the soft tissue around. Go ahead and pull on it a little bit so I can get it out. And same deal. We got both samples. We'll clean it up a little bit so you can see. You see that dark gray interior that's kind of oozing out, but that's the actual lymph node, and I'd cut a portion of that off. And there's the other side down inside some of that tissue. So we'll go ahead and put those in a whirl pack and label them appropriately, and they're ready to send off.